Here we go. How y'all doing? My name is Coco Blaylock, and I want to start off by saying that I hope everybody is doing all right with this coronavirus. This is something serious that shook up our whole world, especially the United States of America. I wanted to send a message out and say that I hope everybody healthy, all the loved ones, friends, and family. I hope everybody's staying healthy with this coronavirus thing going around. I hope we all doing the right thing. I hope we all stand inside, stand away from all of that mess that's come to us. Um, what I'm about to talk to you folks about is I want to do a bio on my football career as a little one. And the name of this page is called Chop It Up with Coco. I thought of it talking with friends and family, and that's what this is all about. We've done so much in our lives. If anybody that knows me, I've always been kind of closed, kind of kept to myself a lot. With all this time we have now with our friends and our family, mainly your family, I thought it'd be the perfect time to kind of talk about the things that were important to me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take you through an adventure, man, of the bio of Coco Blaylock, Little League football, where it started, the cities, the people, things like that. And that's gonna be different episodes. So this right here will be episode 1. Then I'll take it to episode 2, episode 3, etc. And then I'll go into the second stage of this bio of my football career. And it'll be the second stage will be me talking about my high school football career, the things that the highs and the lows that I went through with that. The third one will be the bio of myself when I went to junior college. The next one after that will be the one from college. And the last one will end with me talking about my professional football career. Through this long journey of football, man, I played, a long time. I want to reach out to friends and family. I want y'all to like my page, subscribe to it, come in and comment on it. It's going to take a long time. There's a lot to talk about. What I want to do with this Chop It Up with Coco, man, I want it to be extremely sincere. I want it to be real. I want it to be real life stories about my longevity football career. I came across a lot of good people in my life as a little one. So what I want to do is start off, and we're going to go ahead and get right to it with talking about my Little League football career. I want to start off by talking about the people that influenced me the most in our lives, man. Things change. I had a lot of people in my life in my football career, and at certain times in my life, certain people affected me different ways. So I'm going to start off by talking about the people that influenced me the most, that made me what I was today. I'm retired from football now, but like I said, I hope that this can bring everybody out, everybody that I've known throughout my life. That's kind of what this is about. I want to talk about football, where I grew up, all the people, and I want y'all to come on and comment and talk about it as well. I want this to be a positive thing. I don't want it to be a negative thing in no way, shape, or form. So if we can, let's do it. The first person that I would like to chat about who influenced me to play football was my father. My father's name was James Blaylock, James Jr. For the people that know me and grew up with me, we knew who that was. I know growing up, my dad was a unique character. He was amazing, man. To me, dad couldn't do wrong. My dad was real rough. He grew up in Chicago, Illinois, and the way my dad was didn't fit the suit of what he became. My father grew up in Chicago on the west side, North Lockwood. Grew up in a house with a dad and a mom. My grandmother was real close to me, by the way, and I'll get with her down the road. But I'm gonna talk about my father first. So my dad came from a pretty solid, stable situation. So growing up, he played football. From what I understand, talking with my father a little bit, and then talking with friends and family, he went to Lane Tech. My dad wore number 85. He was a tight end. Dad was a nice sized dude, 6 feet, right around 200 pounds. So he inspired me most because when I was a kid, man, it was about him. Like I worshiped the ground he walked on. Looked up to him a lot. But like I said, he grew up in Chicago, man. Anybody that grew up in Chicago and know about Chicago, Chicago rough. Even though he didn't grow up in the projects, in the hood, my grandmother, my grandfather raised him in a house. And I remember going when I was a little one, going over there, hanging out with grandmama a lot throughout the summertime. And again, I'll get with y'all about grandmama down the road because she's one of those people that definitely influenced me as well. Um, for anybody that knew me, brothers and sisters, it was funny that a lot of people call their fathers and their dads uh, father, dad, those things. Our dad name, we called him Diddy. So anybody that grew up with me, they heard us calling our father Diddy. It's just what you hear. So we called our father, we called him Diddy. So anybody that brothers and sisters, they're gonna get a laugh out of this because that's what we called our father. We didn't call him dad. We didn't call him father. We didn't call him pops. We didn't call him none of that. In our household, our father was Diddy. So that's a little funny little something that we did, and people looked at us like we was crazy, but that's the way it was in our household. It was just a name, the way we grew up. That's just how we called our father that name. For a lot of y'all, my dad, man, he had a nickname. My dad was a functioning alcoholic. But I tell you right now, man, I wouldn't change anything about my father. Maybe one or two small things, but I wouldn't change nothing the way he lived his life. My dad was one of the men. For anybody that knew my father, James Jr., aka Rambo, and I'll tell you how he got that name, Rambo. He was straight up. My dad was one of them dudes that he super straight up, like wasn't playing with nobody. Funny, had fun, but was very physical. I think I saw my dad have well over 100 fights. He was a physical man. I think that no excuses. I think alcohol had a lot to do with it. Folks that drink, folks that do drugs, folks that do things like that, they're not in their right mindset. So, they're going to come off different ways. But I knew one thing at the end of the day, my dad rode for his family. He loved all of us to death. He loved the community. He loved everybody to death. Like I said, I like to look at it. As I got older, I didn't understand it, why he would drink all the time. But I'm going to run y'all through some of the reasons why my father drank. And like I said, as I got older, I kind of found out how, what, when, and where he was labeled as a functioning alcoholic. So like, even though my dad would drink every day, not sometimes, every single day, he was normal. Like from time to time, I would see him, drunk and slurred, but just very little to none. Like I said, functioning alcoholics, they can drink a lot and talk to you like this in a conversation and you not know what's going on. So with me, I didn't know what that meant when I was little. Didn't understand it, but it didn't matter to me because to me, pops can do wrong, man. And I'll stand to that. Like I said, I wouldn't change nothing. The life I lived, man, I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world. And so I just remember him always, no matter what, man. Dad worked 2 jobs sometimes. No matter what it was for work, he did it. But with all that being said, no matter what happens, no matter how much he drank, no matter how much he worked, he always did my homework with me. He always came to all my games. He participated in my life so much that he wasn't going to miss a beat. He wasn't going to miss a day. That brings me back to why I started playing football. Dad got the nickname Rambo because he was a Vietnam veteran. He went to war. A lot of the folks, if you understand this, you understand me on this end. Folks that went to the war, man, it wasn't their fault why they became what they became. Some of them barely lived, barely made it from the war, what they was, and a lot of people, become a little crazy. My pops was definitely all of the above. So with the alcohol, with him seeing what he saw over there, I don't know what he saw. I wasn't over there, but I watched a lot of movies. I got a brother in the military now as well, and not saying they're crazy, but the things they've seen, their mindset is totally different than any of ours. So I can't knock it. I knew My dad was a little different when I was a kid, and this is true story, true facts. I'm gonna tell y'all nothing but facts. And the people you grew up with me, you probably seen it yourself, man. So I'm always tell the truth and be real with it. It was times like I would come home, you know what I'm saying, and dad would be on the ground, come in and grab your ankle and scare the hell out you, and he'd tell you, hey, you better make some noise coming in this damn house. So like that gotta give you a little bit of what kind of man you was dealing with. That war had him a whole nother person, but at the end of the day, he was Diddy. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't afraid of him. A lot of people was. I wasn't. You know what I mean? My dad was A plus, man, and so with that, he got that name Rambo in the hood where we grew up. I remember living in Waukegan for a little while in a duplex, and I remember us moving to Zion to try to get away, make it a little bit better. But like they called him Rambo around the way, it's because he was a Vietnam veteran that always did everything was with this. He fought everybody, and I ain't never seen my dad lose a fight. So me being on this page, man, there's not nothing to brag about. It's not nothing. It's just I want to reminisce and tell his story. I want to tell his life. I want to tell how amazing he was to me. And hopefully, people that know come out, go like my page, man, and comment on my pops and the people and the things like that. I'm never gonna take nothing the wrong way. I'm not a sensitive individual in no way, shape, or form. But they called him Rambo because he was a Vietnam veteran, and my dad was a little crazy. You know what I mean? But still, it was Daddy. It was Diddy. So with that being said, the homeworks, the functions, never missed nothing. My dad, took on a football team, of mine when I was little. That's how I started playing. And so what I'm talking about in episode 1 is my Little League football career. I'm going to show y'all a picture that I put up on Facebook just recently. And I know y'all got a lot of giggles. Y'all cracked up laughing, but this is what it's about. This is the time of your life where you laugh. This is the time of your life where you make comments. This is the time of your life where you celebrate who you was and where you came from. So this picture right here is the one that I put up on my Facebook. Laugh, because that's where it started. You know what I'm saying? So I'll tell you about that here in a minute. But that's what this is all about, man. I wanted to be fun. I wanted to be memorable. I wanted to be real. I wanted to be authentic. I wanted to be everything in the world, and I wanted to be truthful. And I wanted to be, you get a chance to see why I'm the way I am to this day. So Dad, like I said, they called him Rambo in the hood. He was about that life, real physical, fought a lot. Back then fighting was nothing. Everybody fought every day, but he fought somebody damn near every single day. So Dad took on my first Little League football teams. He coached a lot of teams. Dad was fast as hell. But he definitely did that to spend more time with his kids. I had two other brothers that played football as well, and I was the baby of the bunch. So like everything they did, I did. But my dad, he was a ringleader. He wasn't. He was real rough. Let me just say it that way. So like I say, anybody that know my daddy, Diddy, come on here and comment, man, and say what you want to say. And like I said, it's all love, man. So I ain't gonna be hurt in no way, shape, or form. Tell y'all a story or two about my pops. I remember when I first got my equipment for the guys I played with and grew up with in the hood. First got my football equipment. The first time I could play tackle football, because I wasn't old enough to play. I had to wait, but since my dad wanted me to play and I wanted to play so bad, and I was so rough when I was little, he had to become the coach in order for me to play. So he did that. And I remember the first day that I got my equipment, man, because when you're little, you go wait in line for hours, you get your equipment, and you get to take it home, and that was the bomb. But I never forget this, man. This was one thing that I never forget, and this will let you know, since I'm talking about my daddy, this will let you know what type of man he was. What in our household, man, wasn't no crying. If you got hurt, get up. He wasn't about none of that. He don't do that. So just real rough and real hard on the boys. The girls love, but with us, wasn't no crying, man. You can't do that. Let me see. You don't want to see it. I remember I'm getting my equipment, and he took me to get my equipment, and he went to work, and he said, "Look, man, I gotta go. Be careful." He said, "But don't be out there playing no football. You better wait until it's time to play. So don't be out there playing." So yeah, did he go to work? And I'm out there in the streets now. Where I lived, it was Zion, and we got our equipment on, and everybody, we playing in the streets. We ain't playing in no grass. We playing in the streets. Tackle football. We just got our equipment. You couldn't tell us nothing. So we out there, man, and we playing. We got our stuff on. He just told me, don't take your butt out there playing. You just wait and chill out. I ain't listen to him. But I paid for it. Let me tell you what happened. So we out there playing, man, and we playing for a little while, and me and some of the guys in the neighborhood, we on the same football team, etc. And finally, we hit each other, tackling on concrete in the streets, not on the grass, because wasn't no grass on the streets. Wait till cars go by, we was playing, throwing it, kicking it, running, boom, cracking each other, etc. After we played for about 15, 20 minutes, I get tackled on the bottle. You know, them old school bottles, man, them Coca-Cola bottles that, the Coca-Cola bottles and the bottom will be broke. So I get tackled on one of those, and the bottom of the glass stuck in my leg. And we all look at my leg, me and the guys we playing with, and I'm like, at this time I'm probably like, man, I got to be about maybe 7, 8 years old, 6, 7, 8 years old. I can't remember exactly, don't hold me on that, but around that age. So the bottle stuck in my leg. So I pull it out, and my whole leg cut open. Like I'm talking about, you could see the white meat, damn to the bone, like everything. And I'm panicking. Like it don't hurt, but I'm so worried scared about what he gonna do, because what he just told me not to do. I'm spooked. I had my whole leg open. I'm seeing white meat. I ain't even panicking on that. I ain't even thinking it hurt. And everybody out there playing like, damn, man, your meat showing. So, what I did is I just wrapped it up with ace bandage. And just went home and sat there, walking around thinking about what I'm going to do and taking my leg wide open. You know what I mean? I'm going to show you the scar in a minute. My leg wide open, the meat hanging out, white meat, damn it to the bone, the whole nine. And so he get home probably about 5, 6 hours later on, and then I'm sitting there and I'm looking like, like what happened? So I tell him, we played and moved my bandage off my leg, and my leg wide open. And me, he ain't even panic. He was like, look, man, I told you not to take your butt out there. I ain't gonna whoop your ass. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you these butterfly stitches, and we all right. So we ain't gonna get no stitches. We ain't go to the hospital. We ain't get none of that. Here I am, 6, 7, 8 years old, with the meat hanging open to the white meat. But that's just how my daddy was. He was rough, man, and he was just, he made me rough. He made us all rough. And like I said, it was just a mindset that, we was all right. But I just had to tell y'all that little story, man, because it's very, very true. And I got the scar to show y'all that happened that way. But he, wasn't no crime in our household. So just so y'all know I ain't lying, I'm going to show y'all real quick this little scar real quick. That being said, that's just a little story I had to tell you about my daddy, man. Another story I wanted to tell y'all, man, about my dad, so y'all know exactly, how he was, man. He was so proud of us, man. I remember one time down there a little time when I was growing up playing football, he made us earn everything we got. I never forget this, man. We would go to flea markets all the time. That's our favorite place. We go to the flea markets, man, and get little things here and there. But I remember my first bike I ever had in my life. I never rode a bike ever. And this is the God honest truth. I ain't never rode a bike in my life. Never had. We ain't had no money, none of that. So I ain't had none of that. I ain't ride my friends' bikes. Never had a bike in my life. I'll never forget this. And this is the day I really grew up as a little bitty ass kid. We go to this flea market. We ain't got the money to get nothing. But we always up in there getting little small things. And I'll never forget, to the day I die, I'll never forget this. It was a little green bike with a banana seat with no training wheels. And I'm loving it. I'm like obsessed. I don't know, back then, the banana seat with the long seat, then was the bomb to me. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people I grew up with thought it was too. But anyways, it was one up in that flea market, man, with no training wheels. And this, I ain't never rode a bike, never tried a bike, nothing in my life. And my dad was such a dog, this is how he was. He said, look, if you can ride that bike out this flea market, you can have it. Back then it's probably like $10. And back then that's a lot of money, especially for us, because we didn't have it like that. Man, I'll never forget this day, man. I hopped on that damn, on that banana seat green bike, and I rode it out the flea market. Hidden, bumping everything. Never rode a bike in my life. Train wheels, nothing. Rode it straight up out of there. And my daddy bought me that bike, man. So that just tell you just what type of dude my daddy was, man. So I just wanted to run y'all on some courses about him, man. He was very important to me, man. He really made and molded me and all my family and friends of who I became today. Next person I want to talk about, man, that had a lot of success, probably the most. They was close. Was my brother Michael, man. I had a brother named Michael Blaylock, R.I.P. Rest his soul, man. Everybody knew who he was. Biggest heart in the world, man. My brother, he was special. He was lost him young, but I'm gonna talk about him real quick. First, let me go ahead and show y'all, man, a quick shot. I wish I had the pictures in person to show y'all, but for y'all understand, y'all remember. Anybody that know me know who Mike Blaylock was. That was my dog, man. So as a kid growing up, man, he was bad in football, man, and I remember my brother was the type of individual, man. He was probably the smartest guy I met as a kid. He was the hardest working person I had met as a kid. He was always found a way to win, and he just was that type. He was a totally different. Like, we always talk about people that come around once every generational. He was that. And like I said, man, shout out my page, man. Anybody that knew Mike Blaylock, man, he was somebody serious special, man. So everything about me, I paved it behind him. He wore number 20 in football when I was little, and I copied him. If he ate poop, I ate poop. If he did anything, I did it. I was, 3 years behind him, man. And like I say, anything he did, I was doing it. To me, he was God. It was Daddy was the real deal, but he was God to me, because everything I did was behind him. But I remember him wearing number 20, man, and he kind of had a thing for Barry Sanders. He liked Barry Sanders, so I like Barry Sanders. We grew up. Daddy being from Chicago, we were Chicago Bear fans. My dad loved Chicago Bears. Everybody loved Chicago Bears, but me, I really wasn't a Chicago Bear fan. And that's how I knew when I was young. I had my own mindset. Like, I was gonna like what I wanted to like, and I wasn't gonna like what the family was molded into. The Bears was cool, but I had a thing for Walter Payton. So to this day, man, the two best running backs was Walter Payton, hands down, and Barry Sanders. And I felt like my mode of that, I was more like a Barry Sanders. I wanted to make everybody miss, but I just couldn't stop loving Walter Payton, because I tried to run you over a little bit as well. But my brother Mike wore number 20, and I just followed right behind him. Everything he did, I did it. So he wore number 20, and I ran behind that number. I wore it just as when I was little, because I looked up to him so much, man. It was like he couldn't do wrong, but he did everything the right way. So anybody that really knew my brother Michael Blaylock, man, he did everything the right way. Tell you a little story about him. I like to tell a little story so you can get a little feel of what type of individual he was. My brother was smart, man. When I say he was smart, he was the type that we grew up in Waukegan, Zion area. He would go to the grocery stores, and he was a gentleman. He was cool as hell. He was just really smart. When I say he was smart, you might think about this when I tell you about it. He would go to grocery stores. He'd be going all day. We'd be at the in the projects playing and having fun and just doing everything in the world. And that wasn't what he was doing. He wasn't playing. He was at the grocery stores. I remember, never forget it. Started off in Waukegan, Jewel Osco. And he would go there for hours, 5, 6, 7 hours a day, no exaggeration. And he would help people carry their groceries. Like, he wasn't asking for change. He wasn't asking for money or anything like that. But he would, older folks or whoever was there with their groceries, he would say, hey, can I help you carry your groceries in your car? He had a little kid at this time. So they looking like, sure, young man. And he didn't want none. Like, he didn't say, give me some money or give me something. He just would help them. He was just made like that. You know what I mean? So he would do that, man. He would help, and he would come home with 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks. And to where we come from, that's a lot of money back then. So we could understand, like, damn, how's he hustling? You know what I mean? How's he doing this? And so he finally let me in on it. But that was the kind of mindset that he had, man. He wasn't trying to stay broke. He wasn't trying to not have nothing. But anybody that, grew up in our time, man, my brothers hit to the grocery store, man, and helped people all day, whether they gave him not one penny or they gave him $5 or 50 cents or a quarter or even a soda. But he just was a hustling dude, man. So I remember him doing that, man, a lot growing up. And I really dedicate my work ethic. My dad was good, and he was on us. But the really hard work, the one that had that real hard work ethic was Mike, man. Mike used to get up back in the day. We do it now. Our era now is totally different. You young men, y'all grind, you work, you learn stuff, and we take off with it. But I'll tell you this right now, man, I never seen this. Like, now that I played for 18 years of pro football, my brother was one of the first ones that got me up at 5 in the morning to go run. When I was little, man, I wasn't with it. I wanted to lay there and sleep in and all the other stuff, and he wasn't with it. He used to pound me, get up, let's go. Excuse me. But that's what made him so good, man. He was the first one that really pushed me to getting up in the morning at 5 a.m., whether it's running sprints, whether it's just going for a run. He was the first one I seen really work out. Like, I don't remember others really working out like that until my brother Mike did that, man. But Mike was probably the best running back that I'd ever seen. If anybody feel different, come on the page. Let's debate it, because that's what this all about, man. It's a positive thing. I want to cherish those individuals, my daddy and my brother Mike. I want to cherish them, man, and talk about how much they meant to me. Because like I said, man, it's been such a long time in my heart. It's never gonna heal from that. But with that being said, man, I wanted to talk about them and why they made such an amazing impact on me and my long football career. But I just wanted to talk about the people that really influenced me that young to play football, and how and why I did those things. And you know, there's another, when I get down the road, when I got to high school, there's going to be another small segment I want to talk about my brother Mike, some things he had done for me that, like I said, really shaped me, really molded me, really made me realize what I could be. He always believed in me, pushed me. So like he was my best friend in the world. You know, my brother Pat was another person that was really important in my life as well. Pat was a lot older, you know, played football, etc. And but you know, both my brothers was amazing to me, man. But the one that was really to push me to death was Mike. Mike pushed me to a whole nother planet. He believed in me, man. He get my butt whooped for something, he'd come grab me and make sure I was cool. Like he wouldn't let nobody mess with me, man. So like shout out, man, to that. So you know, people that grew up in my era that know my brother. Like I said, I'm gonna talk about throughout my long career, different people influenced me at different times. And I want to get to that as we go. So I just want to kind of like cherish and be positive and bring up and talk about. And I want to hear about y'all, man. I want to know, you know, how my brother or how my father may have influenced y'all. Because like I said, we was in the hood and we was one family, man. It was not two families, three families. You know, my dad loved everybody. You know, he gave away what we didn't have to give. My brother did the same thing. We always like that. But like I said, growing up where I grew up, man, I wouldn't change nothing in the world. For the way I grew up, it made me a stronger person. And I'll tell you one thing, man, you got to have your faith in God. And I'll tell you this right now as well. I learned this as I got older, because I had hit a wall at one point in my life when I ended up losing them too. And I'll talk about that in my next segment of my high school career, is when I hit my worst. I hit my ultimate low when I was in high school and that transition. But that'll be a little bit down the road. But with that being said, man, in life, we can't do nothing with the cards that are dealt to us. And what I mean by that is God not going to give us stuff we can't handle. It took me a long time to understand that. Listen to me good. God going to give you only what you can handle. And me going through the things I went through, it made me super strong. It made me considerate. It made me everything in the world I am today. But God, you can't do nothing with the cards that are dealt to you. You can just play them the best you can. And so I really believe this, man, that like I said, you know, He's not gonna give you something you can't handle. And you know, it's been so long, that pain will never go away. But I wanna celebrate those two right now who started me on being who I became to be in a long football career. So with that being said, I really look forward to hearing comments about my father, James Jr., aka Rambo, my brother Michael Blaylock, stud, baddest running back ever to me. Let's celebrate him, man. Let's talk about him. You know, all the positive things. We got some negative things that ain't gonna hurt me none. It's the truth. It's the truth and it's raw. But like I said, I would love to hear some of y'all's opinions, how they affected y'all in a positive way, negative way, either way. But I would love you to come on and like the page. I'm gonna put this out on YouTube. But like I said, what I want to do at the end, I want to be able to go back and forth with friends and family, because that's what this is for. It's me talking about my career, but the flip side, I want everybody to hear about you as well. I want to be a part of all that. So with that being said, next segment will be about who I played with, the games, etc. But for the most part, be safe, stay healthy, come on and like it. And